With a net worth of over $212 billion, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. While $212 billion is certainly a large number, many find it difficult to conceptualize that sum of money. So, how rich is Jeff Bezos really? Here are 16 facts that illustrate how Jeff Bezos is richer than everyone else. Before we dive in, make sure that you don't miss our next video and subscribe with the button down below. Number 1. He first became the richest person in the world in 2018, with a net worth of $112 billion. Though he hasn't consistently maintained the top spot as the wealthiest person on Earth, he first obtained the title in 2018. Number 2. Bezos' salary is just $81,840 despite his net worth of over $212 billion. Jeff Bezos' salary has remained the same since 1998, but it's little more than a formality. Bezos obviously makes a lot more than that. In 2019, he made over 1,000 times his base salary from Amazon stocks and investments. Number 3. Jeff Bezos makes 3 times the median U.S. worker's annual income in 1 minute. In 2020, Jeff Bezos' fortune grew by $80 billion. Business Insider reported that he made around $2,500 per second, or $150,000 per minute. For perspective, the median monthly salary of a U.S. worker is $4,600. 2 seconds of Jeff Bezos' time is equivalent to a month of labor for the majority of working Americans, and every minute he earns 3 times the median annual U.S. income of $50,000. Number 4. Despite experiencing a $10 billion decline in net worth in 2019, Bezos still remained the richest person in the world. Bezos went through a very public divorce in 2019, in which he lost 25% of his Amazon stocks and parted with $42.5 billion of his net worth. Due to his divorce settlement, Bezos reported the greatest declines in the net worth of any billionaire in 2019. Despite this setback, he maintained a healthy lead as the richest person in the world. His runner-up, Bill Gates, was worth just $98 billion at the time, still $12 billion short of Jeff Bezos' post-divorce net worth of $110 billion. Mackenzie Scott, Jeff's ex-wife, became the 5th richest woman in the world following this settlement. With an estimated net worth of $42.5 billion, she could purchase the Empire State Building 20 times over and still have a few $billion left to spare. Number 5. He is one of 8 global centibillionaires. While there are 2,755 billionaires in the world, Jeff Bezos is one of 8 centibillionaires, or people who have over $100 billion. While you may struggle to secure your first million, Jeff has long surpassed his 100th billion. Number 6. In August 2020, he became the first person to reach a net worth of over $200 billion. Amazon experienced record profits in 2020 due to the rise in e-commerce during the pandemic. As a result, Bezos became the first person in the world to reach a net worth of over $200 billion. So you might still be in awe of the $100 billion mark, but Jeff is way ahead of that already. Number 7. Bezos invested $1 million in Google in 1998. Bezos would probably be a billionaire without Amazon's wild success. Just 4 years after starting Amazon, he made a personal investment of $1 million into Google. While it's still unclear whether Jeff still holds Google shares, since he doesn't disclose his public holdings anymore, he would have made $3.3 million when Google IPO'd. If he still has them today, he'd have at least $5 billion sitting in Google stocks alone. It almost seems like Bezos was destined to join the rank of the world's 2,755 billionaires. Number 8. Bezos purchased the Washington Post for $250 million in 2013. While going from books to the news might seem like a natural progression for Jeff Bezos, he admitted in an interview that he originally had no intention of entering the newspaper industry. Despite this, he purchased the Washington Post for $250 million in 2013. Among the reasons that changed his mind was the potential for, quote, mastery of the internet, which is a bit foreboding, don't you think? Though the Post's financials were upside down, Forbes reports that Bezos purchased it on intuition rather than analysis. Imagine investing the cost equivalent of the world's most expensive private jet, the Airbus A380, on intuition. However, it's all in a day's work for Bezos, who makes $216 million in 24 hours. Number 9. His real estate portfolio is worth $500 million. Since founding Amazon in 1994, Bezos has amassed a gargantuan real estate portfolio. His properties are located coast to coast from New York City to DC and even Beverly Hills. But I guess you gotta sleep somewhere when visiting all your warehouses. Number 10. Bezos purchased 4 adjacent apartments in New York City for $96 million, less than he makes in a day. While many were left jobless from the pandemic, Bezos was closing on a $16 million 20th floor condo on New York City's 5th Avenue. Just a year earlier, he purchased the 3 floors above it and plans to turn it into a mega condo totaling 17,000 square feet. With earnings of $150,000 per minute or $216 million per day, it seems incredible that the book nerd turned real estate tycoon purchased 4 adjacent apartments in the most expensive real estate market in the country, on the most desired block, with not even a day's paycheck. Number 11. His home in Medina, Washington is worth $70 million. Washington State is home to 2 of the top 5 richest people on Earth, Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, and they have even more in common than their massive fortunes. They're also neighbors. The pair lives in a wealthy suburb of Seattle on the banks of Lake Washington. Medina, which is the 7th wealthiest zip code in the U.S., is considered the home base for both Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. Bezos' compound actually consists of 2 homes. He purchased the first 20,600 square foot 5-bedroom lakefront property in 1998 for $10 million. Almost a decade later, he purchased an adjacent $50 million home. The 2 properties together boast 310 feet of prime Lake Washington shoreline. Number 12. Bezos could donate Warren Buffett's entire net worth of $101 billion and still have $111 billion left over. If Bezos donated the equivalent of the investor Warren Buffett's net worth, he'd still have more than Buffett's net worth left over. Though Buffett is the 9th richest person in the world, his $101 billion fortune pales in comparison to the Trekpreneur's $1,212 billion stack. Number 13. In 2020, Bezos was the top U.S. philanthropist. The Chronicle of Philanthropy reported that Bezos was the most generous philanthropist in 2020, donating $10 billion to nonprofits associated with climate change and education efforts. The second highest grossing philanthropist was his ex-wife, who donated over $5.7 billion, followed by former New York City mayor and media personality Michael Bloomberg with $1.6 billion. Though this gesture seems exceptionally benevolent from someone with a stingy public persona, this huge sum represents just 5% of his net worth. Number 14. Bezos could purchase SpaceX or 30% of Tesla. At the current valuation of Tesla Motors, which is owned by Elon Musk, Bezos would be able to acquire nearly 30% of its shares. With $212 billion, Bezos would also theoretically be able to purchase Elon Musk's private space exploration venture SpaceX, which has a current valuation of $74 billion. Number 15. Bezos owns his own aerospace company. However, he doesn't have to purchase SpaceX. As if ruling the internet wasn't enough, Bezos' curiosity has taken him to the next frontier: space travel. He founded the aerospace manufacturer Blue Origin in 2000, 2 years before Elon Musk's SpaceX, with the mission to make space access cheaper and more reliable through reusable vehicles. Number 16. Amazon is the second American company to reach $1 trillion market valuation ever. Jeff Bezos' company, Amazon, flirted with a $1 trillion market cap in January 2020, which makes it the second American company to reach that threshold. The first? Consumer brand Apple, of course. But what does this mean for Jeff's net worth? Well, he still owns a 10.3% stake in Amazon, so you do the math. Love him or hate him, it's undeniable that Jeff Bezos has made all the right moves in his lifetime to become richer than everyone else in the world. How would you spend $150,000 per minute? Tell us in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and check out our next video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.